Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games, and you're watching This Week in MTG Finance, as always. And before we get started, I want to thank MTG Stocks for allowing us to use graphical information for the purposes of this video. Alright, let's jump right into our top 10 winners percentage-wise this week, and we're going to start right here with Blightsteel Colossus from Mirrodin Besieged. Currently valued at 91 bucks. Man, this thing's worth a fortune these days, and it's up 49% this week. So Blightsteel Colossus is always going to be desirable for Commander as that guy that can just kind of one-shot and put someone out of the game, right? I mean, it fits into any deck. It's a 12 mana cost colorless card, and it's an 11/11, which is really important because the thing has Infect, and of course Trample comes in handy as well too. Blightsteel Colossus is indestructible, and if it would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, you shuffle it back into your library instead. So almost impossible to get rid of this thing. You really do need to just kind of exile it. One of the big reasons why this guy is going up this week is because of our number 9 winner, and that would be Flux Squad from the new Commander 2020. This thing's currently valued at $5.50, and that's up 59% week over week. Now, Flux Squad has an interesting effect on it. It's a cheat-in type effect, and these effects are always going to be popular in Commander, and especially in red colors for sure. So, for 1 red and 3, we get a creature human, a soldier. It's a 4/3 with haste, which is a pretty good deal just on its own. But whenever Flux Squad attacks, you may exile another target attacking creature you control. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped and attacking, and the rest of the cards onto the bottom of your library in a random order. So obviously this is going to work really well with something like Blightsteel Colossus, our number 10 winner from this week. Essentially, if you cheat in Blightsteel Colossus, you have the opportunity to just one-shot somebody and put them straight out of the game. Now, our number 8 winner this week is Copy Artifacts, specifically the revised edition, and this is at $47, which is up 61% this week. Now, this is the cheapest version of this card. It is on the reserve list, and it's had multiple printings, basically all the original edition printing. So alpha and beta are obviously in the crazy collector type range. The unlimited version can still be had for around the $80 mark, and this revised version is definitely your best value at $47 if you need to pick up this card. Copy Artifact is always going to be popular in Commander. There's always going to be things that this works well with. Essentially, for just 2 mana, 1 blue and 1, you can pick any artifact in play and then make a copy of it, pretty much exactly how the title says. Always going to be useful in something like Commander. Alright, our number 7 winner and actually our number 6 winner are both on the rise this week for the same reason. That's right, that's Cyrus the Writhing Storm, one of the new commanders from Commander 2020. I actually did a breakdown video on Cyrus, so if that's something that interests you, I will put that in the top right corner right now. Make sure you take the opportunity to check that out. Now, Ferber is currently priced at $3.15, and this is up 63% this week. Now, Cyrus has an effect on him. Whenever an opponent would draw a card, except for the first card they draw during their draw step, you go ahead and create a 1/1 green snake token. So obviously wheel effects are really popular in a deck like Cyrus. You just basically get everyone to toss all their hands, draw a bunch of cards, and then you're going to make a bunch of snakes. Ferber is 1 red and 2. It's an enchantment, and creatures you control have haste. Seems pretty good if you make a bunch of snakes in a turn. And that brings us to our number 6 winner this week, Winds of Change from 4th edition, currently valued at almost $13, and this is also up 63% this week. It's actually one of the little known wheel effects in Magic. Winds of Change is only 1 red mana, and all players shuffle their hands into their libraries and then essentially draw that many cards again. Pretty good a deal for 1 red, and definitely highly sought after for decks like Cyrus for sure. Now, it's not a reserve list card, but it hasn't had a printing since 5th edition was kind of the last printing, right? And all of the printings on it are pretty expensive, and they've all shot up over the course of the last couple of weeks. But the 4th edition printing at $13 is still your best bet. So this brings us to our number 5 winner this week, Wilderness Reclamation, specifically the Commander 2020 printing. Currently valued at $5.50, and this is up 73% this week. It's definitely a printing specific spike, and that would be due to the fact that there will be a much lower supply of this particular printing of Wilderness Reclamation in comparison to the actual original printing as uncommon in Ravnica Allegiance. Now, I would not be paying $5.50 for this printing of Wilderness Reclamation Reclamation, especially when you can get the Ravnica Legions versions for still under $3. That said, $3 is still a great point to be picking up these cards. This is the type of card that is always going to be popular in Commander. I mean, being able to untap all of our lands at the beginning of our end step definitely has value, and that type of card will always see play down the road. Alright, our number 4 winner this week is Dredge De Meyer from Commander 2020, currently priced at exactly $5, and this is up 87% over last week. Now, I did want to mention, a couple of people actually mentioned in the comments over the last couple of weeks, hey Dave, why are you bothering to cover, Commander 2020 cards and IKORIA when we can't even get these cards and or play with them just yet? And the answer to that is you can pre-order these cards, right? Most of the major websites and most of the major sellers are selling pre-order versions of these cards, as well as things like eBay. You can definitely get them there for sure. So it's a good idea to know what is going on with these cards, how they're moving in the market, and what other cards are being affected by them. So that is the reason why we're covering in advance cards that you can't quite get your hands on yet. Dredge De Meyer is 1 black and 3 for a sorcery, and each opponent chooses a creature card in their graveyard, and then you put those onto the battlefield under your control. Obviously really effective in Commander, and actually our number 3 winner this week has something to do with this card. So our number 3 winner this week is Skull Snatcher, specifically the Plane Chase Anthology version. And I say that because you can still get the other 2 printings of this card for under 50 cents. So there's definitely a disparity here at $4.50, and this is up 126% this week. So Skull Snatcher is a ninja. Ninjas are always going to crop up in various different decks. 1 black and 2 for a 2/1 ninjutsu of 1 black, which is really crucial. And whenever Skull Snatcher deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 2 target cards from that player's graveyard. It works pretty good with our number 4 winner this week, which was Dredge De Meyer, which forces our opponents to choose a creature card from their graveyard and basically put it into play on our side. So we can hit them with something like a Skull Snatcher beforehand and exile a couple of creatures that we wouldn't want them to pick. Obviously, there is definitely some value there. Now, our number 2 winner this week is up 134% to almost $2.50. That's right, it's Wood Elves, and specifically the dual decks Elves versus Goblins version. So Wood Elves is actually really important and getting a lot of attention right now. This is always going to be a popular card in Commander for sure, because for 1 green and 2, we get a 1/1 creature. And when it comes into play, we search our library for a forest card, very important, and put that card into play, and then shuffle our library. So obviously, with all these new triomes, these new 3-color lands that have the land types on them, we can essentially go search out one of the new triomes with Wood Elves. Pretty good deal for sure, especially in something like Commander. Now, there's been a lot of printings of Wood Elves. The Portal version and the Starter 1999 version are both 2 of the most rare copies of this and have their own specific art, so they're obviously the most valuable versions. But you can get the 7th edition and 8th edition versions, and even the 9th edition versions, all the white border versions, for still under $1. Alright, our big winner this week is Netherborn Altar from Commander 2020, currently valued at $11, and this is up 159% this week. Now, I called this one out a few weeks back when you could pre-order it in the $3 to $4 range as one of the sleepers from Commander 2020, and I really do believe that. So for 1 black and 1, we get an artifact, and we can tap it and put a soul counter on Netherborn Altar. Then we put our commander from our command zone into our hand, and we lose 3 life for each counter on Netherborn Altar. More often than not, Black deck doesn't care about losing life, and usually has a way to cheat counters off of things as well. So I do believe that Netherborn Altar will be a staple for a lot of Black Commander decks in the future. Alright, before we get into cards I'm investing in this week, as always, if you're a subscriber, you know I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate your support. And if not, now's a great time to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post at least 2 videos every week. The first one I wanted to bring to your attention this week is Senseis Divine Top, specifically the Champions of Kamigawa version. So currently priced around $41.50, and this is up near all-time high range, only $43 on the all-time high for this card, and that was just a week or so ago. The Eternal Masters printing is around $47, and the From the Vault XL, which would be a foil version of this, is $65. So definitely your best value would be the original Champions of Kamigawa version if you need to pick one of these up. And I'm just bringing this to your attention because this card is on a slow and steady but constant increase in value, and until it gets a reprint, which I believe it will have a reprint at some point down the road, who knows when that's going to be, this is going to continue to climb. And the next one I have for you guys today is a Ramming Up Excavator from Hour of Devastation. At $5, I mean, this is just a good value card. This is the kind of card that people just come into my store asking for all the time. The supply has completely dried up of this. I haven't had one for a long time. It's the kind of card that nobody trades in. It's the only true printing of this card. I mean, there's a couple promo versions, of course, but the only real printing, Hour of Devastation. I'm actually kind of surprised that this didn't get a reprint in the recent Commander 2020 sets. Now, that's not saying that it won't be reprinted later this year. This is Commander, the year of the Commander, and the focus was on green this year. So there is a distinct possibility that this could be reprinted later this year or in some future set. I mean, at some point it definitely will get reprinted. But in the event that this does not get reprinted later this year, this card is just going to continue to climb in value. It is highly sought after. Tons of people are still looking for these, so definitely a good pickup at $5. Up next, we have Ferber from Magic 2013, currently valued at $1.60, and that's right, this was on our list as one of the big weekly winners this week. That was the 7th edition version, and that is currently priced at almost $3.20, which is essentially double the price of the Magic 2013 version. Quite the disparity, so perfect opportunity to pick this card up. Yes, this card is gaining in popularity because of deck tech with the new Cyrus, the Writhing Storm Commander. But that said, this card has been on a slow and steady increase for the last 5 years or so. So picking one up at this range is definitely a good time to invest. And going hand in hand with Ferber, we have Mass Hysteria from the original Mirrodin set. I actually think this is a better card for something like Cyrus if that's a deck you're looking to put it in. Combo-y kind of decks like Cyrus where you're going to be making like 50 snakes in one turn, you want to be able to just kind of swing in those, and you want the low mana cost investment of only one as opposed to something like Ferber. Yes, it's nice that Ferber only gives your creatures haste, but honestly, in a combo-y style deck, you really don't care if your opponent's creatures have haste. It's probably a non-issue. So the lower mana cost investment, I think, is just a better plan for a deck like Cyrus for sure. Currently valued around $4, and this is all-time high range for this card. I mean, it's never had a reprint. The original Mirrodin was back in, I think, 2004, but around that range, so 15 to 16, 17 kind of years ago type of thing, which means that this card has just kind of ever been slowly increasing over time, and I predict that to continue. All right, and last but not least, we have Coon Rose, Hound of Aetherios, currently valued at 75 cents, and this thing is an absolute steal. So Coon Rose is 1 black, 1 white, and 1. We get a legendary creature, Hound, and he's a 3/3. This thing's keyword soup. So it's Vigilance, Menace, and Lifelink. And just that on its own makes this worth playing in many decks. However, if this part doesn't affect you, it's the kind of card that can just randomly shut off various decks that you run into. So creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield, and players can't cast spells from graveyards. Like I said, it's just the kind of card that randomly you'll run into a deck that this just completely shuts it off. It's actually very effective in the current standard metagame as well, because it shuts off things like Gyruda and Luris. For 75 cents, I think this thing is an excellent bargain. I would be picking up as many copies as I can get my hands on. And that's our speculation play for the week. All right, I really hope you guys enjoyed this week in MTG Finance. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps me out, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.